Next, of course, you can use the jigsaw method. This is another good method. I don't have time to go through it, but jigsaw method, I use it for my senior years, 4th year, final year students. I would use the jigsaw methods to create specializations of each team members. Built-in individual accountability in class during the FAQ session. I will just call up one group, anybody, doesn't have to be the leader of the group, explain to me what have you done, what's your progress, because they have to submit to me their minutes of meetings, they have to submit to me their Gantt chart for their planning, and also, I would just ask them, okay, who was absent, who was not, who was present, who was absent, because they know if I know who's absent, at the end of the classroom, I will be calling them to speak to them, And I was very much influenced by Professor Felder when he came to give a talk in UTM on effective teaching. I learned a lot from him. I used a lot of his materials. And I asked permission first. I emailed him, can I use your materials, So this is one of the things that I borrowed from him. This is the peer rating. Because I don't know how the group work with each other. They know. So they have to rate their team members, and they will come up with a weighing factor, which I will use that weighing factor in their final grade. So they may work in a group, but they will get individual grades, based on the weighing factor that is calculated using the peer rating. Okay, so I adopted this from Professor Felder with his permission. And this is the best part of it. I always reward the students. Even when I ask them questions in class, I always carry a big handbag to class because I will have apples in there. During my tutorial sessions, if anybody I saw show some great thinking that they did in class, I would present them with an apple, right? And usually the best group will be treated to a large dinner. Like last year, I'm with the IEM Southern Branch, so we had our annual dinner and we invited the Sultan of Johor. So during one of the case studies, I told them, okay, best group will get to go and have dinner with the Sultan of Johor. How would you like that? So that sort of motivated the students. So I brought them for the dinner there. And then also the other passion that I have other than teaching and engineering is bowling. I love to bowl. So I will take the students to bowling as well, those with the best project. And during this particular last 2 years ago, I did not tell them. Sometimes I tell them, sometimes I don't. So it so happened I said, okay, I'm going to take you, since you all did a very good job, I'm going to take this group for bowling, a day out for bowling. And the other class, the students were really upset. Why didn't you tell us? Otherwise, what? I have to tell you so that you can work better, is it? So anyway, so when the others complain, I say, okay, I tell you what, the whole class comes bowling with me. So this is one of the ways I get to know my students better, and at the same time, I can enjoy my bowling. So this is what I do for my thermodynamics when, in terms of cooperative learning. At the very beginning, I will start with a virtual visit. These virtual visits will come from videos that I take when I go for a visit the semester before. I bring that back and I show it to the students at the very beginning. So they already see, oh, that is a real engineering workplace. They already see it in their mind, And then only I give a group project, and that group project will require actual data from the power plant, from the plant that they're going to visit, right? And when you give them that, they already know that they actually have to start preparing themselves. What are the theories, what are the principles that they need to know so that they can go to the power plant and get the data. So you develop this in them, so they start to, okay, I have to do this, I have to learn this, I have to learn that. So when they do that, so after the semester break, you take them out to the power plant, and they actually have to interact with the plant engineers to get the actual data. I arrange with the engineers to have a lecture at the power plant itself. That's why I say classroom without walls. Take them out, the engineers, but I will tell the engineers, this is what I want. This is the objective of taking the students to the visit. It's not just for fun. They have to learn, They have to complete their assignment, and to do that, they need to get real data and they need to ask you problems, So this is one example of virtual tour that I do for my students. This is one that I took some students to Glogo power plant in Penang. So I show this to my class. These are the things that engineers do. Yeah. This is the trip. That is where we have a class lecture at the power plant itself. This is the group working in groups, getting data from the power plant. They have to interact, they have to communicate with the engineers. Yeah? And this is them. And we always have fun. We always have fun when we go out. We always have fun. I arrange in such a way, for instance, if you have a Friday outing, 12 o'clock, they all jump on the bus. By 1 o'clock, we reach Pasir Gudang, right? They go for their Friday prayers. When they finish the Friday prayers, they have nice lunch. I always belanja them. Yeah, I say I don't have raya open houses. We have open buses. So we have nasi biryani, nasi tomato, the best in Skudai. I told them this is the best in JB, some say in Batam. So enjoy the nasi tomato. And this is them coming in for the first time, looking at the power plant. Oh my God, they are huge, Puan. Yes, they are. In the classroom, they will only see them in rectangles. Boiler, turbine. Yeah, in the real life, this is how it looks like. So this is how I do that. And this is another one, another form of cooperative learning. I call it competition-based learning. But you need to have the luxury of time to do this. When I was teaching in Atma, now UPNM, any UPNM lecturers here? Okay. I was in Atma before, UPNM was known as Atma before. So when they first started, I taught a subject called Applied Mechanics. It's static plus dynamics, so 4 credit hours. So this was like 15 years ago. 15 years ago, yeah. And I started with, it's a introductory course, second year, first semester, second year. So they don't have any design classes yet. So I say, I want to introduce them to some sort of design concept a little bit, yeah. So I started with small innovative projects, such as how do you transfer a mayonnaise jar from one place to another using the power of rubber bands, you know. So I started with small projects and competition, and then I give them rewards as usual. I like the carrot technique things. No stick, but just carrot. And then I say, wow, since I've got very good results, I said, I'm going to up this a bit. I'm going to put the bar a little bit higher. So I started this drag race competition. Yeah? So this drag race competition has its specific criteria. They have to use recycled material, yeah, to design and fabricate a car that can dash 100 meters with manpower, yeah? Only manpower, no launches. So when I did that, yeah, I actually went and approached Proton Berhad 15 years ago. Can you sponsor my students? Yeah? Can you sponsor my students? So they actually sponsored 5,000 ringgit. At that time was a lot of money. And I even invited them. How I tried to bridge the gap 15 years ago, yeah? Industrial University, I brought them to Atma and asked them to become judges. These are head of departments of manufacturing, production, head of department of engineering, came to become the judges. Yeah? So that was, I think, one memorable event for the students. Yeah? It caught the media's attention. There was a reporter in the newspaper. And at that time, Atma student came from the kampung, right? It's really unknown, yeah? And at that time, the morale was really low because when they first came, they thought it's just for the degree. They never thought they had to go through the military training. So they were kind of demotivated. So this is one way I thought I could motivate the students. And I have many categories of prizes. For the winner, the fastest, I have a category for innovation. See, I was already talking about innovation 15 years ago. I was using recycling materials. I say use only recycled materials. And when I mooted that idea, some of the lecturers were saying, are you crazy? Who wants to use all these old materials? Yeah? But I did that. And I had another category for creativity. And I used rubrics. Now I know they are called rubrics to assess this. And I asked the Proton guys to use the rubric as well. So this is what I did. Yeah? And when it was reported in the newspaper, I went to all the kedai mama around Kratok Kramat, where I live, and bought all the newspapers. The mama was happy with me that day. For 3 days, actually. I collected all the newspapers, I cut them up, and I see wherever photos in there, I asked my staff to send it to their parents. Yeah? And tell the parents, put a note there that your child is doing very well in Atma. Okay, so that makes a big difference in their life until today. I've met some of these who have graduated, yeah, and they've never forgotten that. So this is one way of cooperative learning. Case studies is another one you can do real quick in class. It's very good for critical thinking. If you want to develop critical thinking, use case studies. They have got all the elements, yeah? Very good for critical thinking. And this is what I do in the case studies class. Yeah? So they have to do brainstorming, they have to do mind map, and they always, even with a big class, with 60 students in my class, I managed to do it. Yeah? And it becomes very lively, a little bit noisy, but manageable, yeah? And they really enjoy it. Of course, they get a reward. Yeah? But before I end, I think most important, I would like to share with you, please bear with me, is on the feedback. How do you improve yourself? We talk about continuous quality improvement. How do we improve ourselves? Feedback is number one. I use an entry survey. I use an entry survey, yeah, to beat three birds with one stone. How do I say that? Firstly, I can get in touch with them. If they're absent from class, I'll be able to get in touch with them. And I will be able to get some knowledge about their academic achievement, their level of academic achievement. And most importantly, I get to do my book loan program. I have a book loan program. The textbook for thermodynamics is very expensive, 70 ringgit plus plus, right? It's very expensive. But they can use it for 2 or 3 semesters, Thermo 1, Thermo 2, and also option subjects, yeah? So, from the entry survey, yeah, when I get the entry survey, this is the entry, I can show you the entry survey, okay? So it's got their background, family background. This semester I had 3 students whose parents are rubber tappers. These are potential candidates for my book loan program. Yeah? But it's not just that, it's what they write. It's what they write. The perceptions that they have of the subject, the perceptions that they have of the lecturer, and what are their harapannya. Yeah? Harapannya. Yeah? What is your expectation of this subject? What do you expect to learn from this subject? Yeah? Because I want them to compare this to the exit survey, because I have an exit survey. Okay? So compare what is your expectation when you first come to class and after you attend the course, right? And I know their grades from here. I want to know their physics. I want to know their mathematics because I'm teaching engineering. It's important for me, yeah, to know whether I need to do some refresher courses. I need to know their English because I teach in English. Yeah? And then also, as I said, yeah, so when I choose this student from a book loan program, I will call them individually in my room. Nobody knows about this, just you today. I call them and say, okay, I've got a book loan program. This is a textbook, 75 ringgit. Yeah? You can use it for 3 semesters. But I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you. Based on what you wrote, I'm very impressed by what you wrote, right? So based on that, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to challenge you. If you get an A from this, I don't really bother about grades. Just like Dr. Chatta, I don't bother about grades. I say, if you get an A from my class, this book will become yours, right? If you don't get an A, return it back to me. I can give it to somebody else as a book loan next semester. So far, I've never gotten back any of my books. So far, right? And then, another reason why I use this entry survey is to get a work contract. Being an engineer, yeah, we deal with contracts a lot. What do you mean by work contract? I ask them to read. Everybody has to read aloud. Baca semua orang kuat-kuat in class. I understand that I must attend all classes. When I say all classes mean 100% attendance. That's why I don't worry about attendance. I have no problem with attendance for 26 years. No problem with attendance. Because I have a contract with them. Aku janji. Yeah? Do you understand this? And I ask them, do you understand what you read? Yes. What does that mean? It means that I have to attend classes 100%. Okay. Next. I have to monitor my own progress. Student-centered learning. Yeah? Monitor your own progress. How? By maintaining a learning portfolio. By maintaining a learning portfolio and study smart in order to successfully achieve the course learning outcome. We are into the outcome-based education. And I keep reminding them about the course learning outcome from the beginning. Yeah? And in return, I promise you, you will have a fulfilling class from my class. A fulfilling experience from my class. I promise them that in return. Do you understand what you've read? If they say yes, okay. If you understand what you read, do you agree? If you agree, then you sign and you date it, then it becomes a contract. If you don't agree, there is the door. Go, by all means, go to another section. Yeah? Because in my class, I mean serious business. Engineering is serious. You do not want the roof to collapse. Right? So do you understand what you are signing? If you say you agree to attend my class 100%, you agree to study smart, you agree to monitor your own progress, then you sign, and then you will be a part of my class. Yeah? And that is why I don't have problem with attendance. I don't have problem with retests. I never ever have retests. Never. I don't have retests. There's no such thing as retest in my class. They don't even dare to bring an MC to me for a test. Because they know, unless their legs are hanging in the hospital. Because I told them, unless your legs are hanging in the hospital, then don't worry. I will send somebody to the hospital for you to do your test, just like SPM. You know? So they know I'm in business. They understand, they agree, they sign, I have a contract. No problem. Right? So that is the function of my entry survey. This is an example. I don't know whether you can read it. Okay, so I've blancoed the names because of confidentiality. So these are some of examples of. This is the latest. I use this because the date is 11/11/11. I like that date. So the latest, yeah. And this is the 2B paper. If you have to bring back with you this 2B paper. Yeah. This 2B paper is a reflection. At the end of the class, I say 5 minutes reflection. They have to reflect back on the topic or on the chapter that I have taught them or they've learned in class, and then tell me what they understood and what they don't understood. So I say, take a piece of paper, divide it into two. The top put best, the bottom put blur. Yeah. So and then you put there what you learned and you're happy about, put in the best. What you want to know more or you don't understand, put in the blur. Before I go to sleep at night, I will read all this. I will read them and I know what to do in the next class. Yeah. So this is a very good feedback. This is one form of formative assessment, they call it. Right? Another one is through emails or forum. So I don't believe e-learning is just for posting grades, for posting notes, assignments. I don't believe in that. I think it should go beyond that. It should be used as a forum, yeah, for an intellectual discourse among the students. And this is what I get from the students. They were right. This guy says, I don't understand how to do the energy balance. Saya dah cuba baca tapi tak dapat tidur malam memikirkan masalah ini. I am so happy if they cannot sleep thinking about thermodynamics problem. I tell them because that is a good problem to have. Yeah? When they can't sleep. Yeah? And this guy was telling them, oh, come on. Yeah? All you need to do is to look at the big picture. Yeah? Because I always tell them, you don't only have to look at the trees, yeah? You must also look at the forest, the big picture. And this guy says, he gave the solution. He says, all you need to do is get the general equation and then apply it to different devices. That's how you use energy balance. So they themselves set up the problem, they themselves discuss, they themselves solve it. If they can't solve, I will assist, I facilitate. Yeah? Student-centered learning. All right, and I encourage them to write. Whenever they go for the power plant visit or whatever, when they come back, they must submit 2 reports. One is a technical report. That's a group report, technical. Yeah. Second is an essay. They must write. They can submit by, they can write in their own handwriting. They can submit to me by emails. They can put in their blogs. They can submit through the e-learnings, any which way, as long as I get to read what they write. The second essay is, I want to know how they feel about the visit, what they learn. So I ask them, why do you think I do this to you? Why do you think I insist that you write 2 essays? Can anyone who teach engineering tell me? How does that relate with a professional engineer? Because I am an interviewer for professional engineers, right? So when they go for an interview, yeah, the professional interview they call it, they have to write 2 essays. One is a technical essay. One is an essay on ethics. See, I'm teaching, I'm training them from day one. Because when they go for professional interview, they have to write essays. So you better start writing essays. You better start writing report. Yeah? So, and this is one that I really treasure. I really treasure. He says, she's here, this is in his blog. Yeah? He says here, we entered the power plant. No, the visit was a brief one. Puan Hayati, our lecturer, brought us on this trip so that we learn the ways of engineers in life, how they think, how they brought their knowledge to practical, and lots more exciting stuff. This is what the student wrote. Yeah? He's already an engineer with Petronas now. And he says here, we entered the power plant with lots of things expected in our mind. Before Puan Hayati told the power plantiers, the engineers, that we are a bunch of highly intelligent kids. Well, I don't know how true that is, but I hope so. And before, we were given an assignment regarding a power plant problem. Because of that, our minds were pouring with questions. Our minds were pouring with questions. That means they must have been thinking about it. And they must think well because they want to ask the engineers at the power plant. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. I have achieved my objective just by reading what the students write there. Okay? So these are the things that I use. Exit survey, yeah, to know whether they've understood the learning outcomes, how they feel about e-learning, how they feel about working in the group, because I use cooperative learning, and at the end, I want to know how they feel compared to the expectation at the very beginning. Yeah? So, and this is another important one. I'm sure you have in your universities, they call it penilaian, pengajaran, pensyarah, right? Of course, you know, when you do a good job, they probably write good things about you, right? Don't focus on the good things so much, yeah? Because you're talking about improvement. They may say, yeah, saya harap Puan Hayati mengajar pensyarah lain tentang cara mengajarnya. Okay, rasa macam kat overseas, get improve my English. Our lessons more related to real world of engineering. Thanks. Yeah. So those are the good things, but I don't focus on that. Where do I focus? Where do I focus? This is where I focus. They say, you are a great teacher, tapi mengajar jangan terlalu laju. You see? So I say, okay, right. That is something that I have to work on. I cannot talk too fast. Students don't catch up here. Yeah, with what I'm trying to tell. Yeah? So these are the other things that I use other than e-learning, student learning portfolio. Remember the contract that they signed? Yeah? You know what I do? First day of class, they're very busy. I bring boxes and boxes and boxes. And they said, apalah Puan, madam ni bawa boxes and boxes and boxes. Dalam kotak-kotak tu, in these boxes are the files. Yeah? The box files or whatever you call it. Yeah? And when they sign, as a token of appreciation of them wanting to be serious, wanting to attend all my classes, I give them a gift. And that gift is the learning portfolio, the file. So this is how, because I tell them, as an engineer, you not only have to manage time, you have to manage your materials as well. Documentation is number one. You want to apply for a professional engineer, the first thing they ask you, where is your documentation? Where is the evidence that you've done work, design, field work, operate, whatever? Where is it? So I told them, you start learning to manage your material. So I give them a gift that's called a learning portfolio, and there you put in your course outline, the first thing that you give them in class, course outline, their quizzes, or whatever they do, assignment, all in there. So they have no excuse not to know when the exam is or when the test is, because everything is in the course outline and they have that portfolio. And they can monitor their own progress. What did I do in the first quiz? What was my mistake? And how did I rectify that? Everything in that portfolio. You know? And now, the good thing is, I did that many, many years ago. UTM has just launched the e-portfolio. So now they can do it online in soft copy, which is even better, right? So, but that is the function of the learning portfolio. And another thing is, I tape my video. I'm the only one with so many heavy stuff when I go to the classroom. Sebab I will bring my video camera, I will bring my tripod, yeah, to videotape myself. And when I go back, I will look at it. I say, oh my God, besarnya cincin, patutlah distracting sangat. Yeah? You know, so, no, not that, just a joke. I don't wear the big cincin when I go to class. But you have students, I'm sure, that comes in class 2 weeks later, isn't it? The direct entry will come in late, right? So I make a CD, so that when they come in 2 weeks later, you cannot not accept them, so I give them the CD. You will not miss my lecture, because it's in the CD. Look at it. I have international students. People say international students have problems, right? The international students, I give them the CD so that they can look at the CD again and again, so that they, so that they don't miss anything out. That's the use of the videotaping, right? And of course, course review report, and I think this is how I sum up, yeah, the teaching and learning process using the student-centered learning. So you can have a look at this. This is student-centered learning in a diagram, yeah? This is student-centered learning in words. A Chinese proverb says, tell me and I might forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I will understand. Student-centered learning is about getting students involved, getting students engaged. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much.